What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. We are here to deliver another episode. Before we do, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is totally free. We are on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. We are on TikTok at the podcast guys _. And we are on X, the previous Twitter, at the podcast guys 5. And we are going to discuss today a very important episode, and that is signs that women take advantage of men. And this is something that all you guys out there, all you men out there, should make sure you pay attention to, because you may be going through this right now. You may go through it in the near future, in the distant future. Women are out there taking advantage of guys. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. And we want to bring awareness to that. It's important that you know what those signs are, how women are taking advantage of men, how women are using men, how women are manipulating men. That's very important. So let's talk about for a second, why would women want to take advantage of men? Why would women want to use men?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think it's a very good starting point. Why would a woman even take advantage of a man? Like, is she a bad person? Like, why do women do this stuff, right? The reason women take advantage of guys is because they know very well what men want from them, and they use it against them, simply put. Women aren't stupid. They know what you're trying to get out of them, so they're going to dangle it in front of your face like a sausage, and in the meantime, get what they want. That's how it works.
It's like putting a dollar bill in front of somebody's face. You just put it in their face.
Oh, you want this? You're going to
away.
do what I want first, and then when you think you're going to get it, I'm going to yank it away. That's the baseline, reason of how it works. So
exactly. So what's one way that women use men? They take advantage of men.
So one sign that she may be taking advantage of you is when she withholds affection. And a typical scenario is if you catch yourself spending a lot of time with a woman and you think you're getting to know each other and you're having a great time with her and you think that she likes you, but anytime you hang out, you're not kissing her, you're not hugging her, there's no touching, it's just like you two are completely separate, that is a sign that she may just be taking you on a run.
Guys, you're going out with a woman and you go into 2, 3, 4 dates. Maybe you're a week, 2 weeks in, a month, 2 months in, and forget sex for a second. She's not even kissing you. That right there is over. You break it off, move on to the next woman, or just focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Improve yourself. We've said it so many times before. Money, status, get those up. Get the gym as much as you can, right? Exercise, lift. Be relentless. Be confident. Build yourself up as a man. And then the women will come to you. But of course, you have to have some game to keep them coming back. So, again, the situation with affection, if she's not having sex with you, 2, 3 months down the line, that's even too long.
And where you could
it's over.
Kind of catch it right off the bat. Even if you're on the first date, a sign that she's genuinely attracted to you is when you flirt, you'll notice that women will, when they're talking to you, they'll touch your leg or they'll touch your shoulder. Like, that's where it kind of starts. When a woman's flirting with you and she's sexually attracted to you, she won't even notice she's doing it. She'll touch you as you're talking. That's a sign that she's comfortable in front of you. But if you've been on 3 dates, or like you said, you've been talking to her for a few weeks and you haven't touched at all, that's not a good sign. Okay? So you should be aware of that.
For the ladies out there, is it such a bad thing that they have a one-night stand with a guy, with a man? Is it a big deal? Is it not? Is there an issue with it? I mean, some women tend to make a huge deal about it. Oh, I don't sleep on the first date with any man that I go out with. But I see an advantage to it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. It's good you brought that up because women will usually give excuses like that, like, oh, I'm not like that, or they'll tell a guy, I like to wait 90 days, and they'll give you all these like different excuses. But the reality is that She does have one night stands with guys that she's sexually attracted to. Women don't like putting that on the table. They don't like talking about it, but that's in reality what's happening.
I think it's an advantage for women to have a one night stand with men. You know, obviously everybody consents. It's a go. Why? Because at least the guy knows what he's got. You know, just because they have sex on the first night doesn't mean that the guy's going to run away from them. Although many women think that, okay, if I give this man my body and we have sex or whatever the case may be, he's not going to call me the next day. Which, fine, it does happen from time to time, but not always. At least the guy knows what he has. That's why for women out there, a one night stand is not really all that bad. You know, eventually you're going to have sex. Why make the guy wait? Why make him wait?
The reality is you're not going to have a long-term serious relationship with everybody you have sex with. I mean, especially like if you're a grown adult, you know that. Like, just because you sleep with somebody, it's not like it's. I think sometimes people make it more serious than it is. It's like you're not going to have a long-term, you know, let's get married type of a relationship every time you sleep with somebody. So it's kind of like, you know, but again, women are going to do that when they're attracted to the guy. So if you're on multiple dates and you see like no sign of that, not a good sign. She may be taking you on a run. She might just be using you for attention or just like, hey, I need somebody to take me out for dinner. Like, so that's why we're going over this, because if you're not kind of aware of that from the beginning, this could continue on for months, continue on for a year, where you think maybe she's interested, she's kind of tagging you along, but in reality, she's never going to do anything with you.
Men should run away from women that don't give them affection. And again, it could be maybe we'll cut the women some slack on the first date or two.
Right.
No kissing, fine.
Right.
No kiss on the first date, whatever. But once you get to the fourth, fifth, sixth date, and you guys are creating a more of a emotional connection, relationship, you're building and building, and she's not even kissing you. Imagine she's not holding the guy's hand. You know, it's like, what's the point? Cut that off. As a guy, you want to run away from that. Ladies out there, you have to understand that guys are going to run away from that. And if you don't show any affection, then you're not going to keep that guy around. It's fine if you don't want that guy to be around, but let him know so he doesn't waste his time. Because there's guys out there that waste their time too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, women will waste your time, 100%.
So what's another way that women use or take advantage of men?
So this is another sign you have to watch out for. If she doesn't take accountability for her actions. And, you know, best way I could describe this is when a woman's attracted to a man, she'll start to invest into that guy. She'll spend more time with him, and she will take accountability for her actions because she doesn't want to lose that guy or she doesn't want to screw up the relationship. So if she's coming across to you as somebody that just like doesn't really give a shit, whatever that is, canceling plans, giving you attitude, saying you're going to do something and then her changing the plans or the dates, and she's not taking accountability for it, like you kind of bring it up to her like, hey, like you canceled once, or like, you know, this, and she just doesn't care. There you go again. Another sign that she might not really be into you like that. She's not invested in you, and she's just kind of tagging you along and hanging out with you when she feels like.
That's the thing, that stringing along factor when it comes to hanging out with women, going out with women. If she's just stringing you along, she's just having you there as emotional support.
Yeah.
What is emotional support really? It's like a friend. And men aren't friends with women. I mean, seriously, why would you want to be friends with a woman? Right? You go out with women to eventually create some attraction there, and one thing leads to another. The affection, going back to number one, kissing, touching, sex, foreplay, etc. But to be friends with a woman, that's like burning your time. It doesn't make sense. Women, on the other hand, with regards to not taking accountability or responsibility, do they tend to play the big victim in certain situations?
Yeah, I was going to say, so an obvious sign of this is probably the most common one, is like if you call her out on something and she always spins it around and makes it about you, that's exactly what not taking accountability is. And it's I feel like it's so common nowadays. Like if you call a woman out on whatever it is, her attitude, her canceling plans, like she did something you didn't like, and she doesn't say like, okay, my bad, like that was my mistake, I won't do it again, or you're right. If the answer is always like something about you, or she says to you like, oh, well, don't act like you never did that, or well, you're always doing this, and it's always about you, bad sign.
It's awful to see that guys go through things like that because that's really manipulation.
It is manipulation.
You're playing with the guy's mind. And ladies, guys don't want to play games. So cut the games out. Because at the end of the day, you're the ones who are going to end up getting played. And that's not going to feel good. You know, put yourself in a guy's shoes. The guy doesn't get as many options. Even those high-value guys, I mean, they'll get a lot of options. But versus a hot girl, let's say high-value guy, OnlyFans girl, she's going to get a lot of options for sex.
Yeah.
For a relationship, not so much.
Yeah.
So put yourself in the guy's shoes and understand where he's coming from, right? You have options. You have guys hitting you up in general, any girl. We're not talking about just OnlyFans girls, any girl. And guys just want to try to make something work out with you. And if you're just playing all these games, you're not showing up on dates, you're late, you are just talking to him whenever you have an issue, whenever you need a ride somewhere, and you call him, hey, I haven't talked to you in 3 weeks. Obviously, she won't say that, but I need a ride, or I need this, or can you pick me up, or can you bring me something to eat, or some crap.
Yeah.
Some nonsense.
Oh, they love asking for favors. Drop me off. Can you bring me food? Can you? Yep.
And it's ridiculous. So guys don't want to go through that. So women, make sure you cut that out. When you make a mistake, fess up to it. Really see it and say, okay, I'm going to be responsible for all my actions, which everybody, men and women, they are responsible for their own actions, whether it's their fault or not. Because whatever is happening to them is always what they cause it to be. So take responsibility. Guys are simple and straightforward. That's all men want women to be, is simple and straightforward. Don't make it so difficult, because that's what makes dating and relationships challenging for both sides, not just for men. You're playing games. It's a pain to play games and to not take accountability for when you do something wrong, which a handful of times you do something wrong knowingly, on purpose. So that's another tidbit right there to be aware of.
Yeah, if she doesn't take accountability, not a good sign. You don't want to deal with somebody like that.
For guys, you should run away from that. What's another way that women will take advantage of men?
Number 3 is if she lets you pay for everything. Now, we're not saying that you go on a first date and you ask her to split the bill or have her pay. It's not what we're saying. But if you've been on 5 dates or 10 dates and you do different activities or go out for drinks and you're the one paying every single time, it's not a good sign. Because again, like I said from square one, if a woman's attracted to you and she's invested in you, she will sometimes pay. She will sometimes offer to split the bill, or to maybe you go out for drinks and she pays for this round, whatever. But if it's always you paying every single time for everything that you do, she might just be taking you on a run.
And women may say sometimes when men ask them to pay,
"How dare you?"
But listen, ladies, the thing is that, yes, guy is taking you out on a date. He pays. That's typically shouldn't be a worry, because at the end of the day, men are leaders. They are the ones who are focused on the financials, making money. They take women out and pay for everything. Fine. But it's about the principle, right? It's about showing that that you actually give a shit about the guy, that you're willing to pay. And even if it's one time, what's the big deal, right? One time, pay for the guy just because you give a shit. Not because, obviously, he's the man and he should pay, and, you don't want to, or you shouldn't, or whatever the case may be. But you're showing that you care about the guy. You're showing that you give a shit about the guy personally as a human being. And that's pretty huge, and guy's going to feel good. That's going to be huge in in any guy's book.
When women take advantage in general, what is she going to take advantage of you for? It's either going to be something financial. She's going to get you to pay for her dinners and her dates and her drinks, or she may take advantage of you just for attention. She just needs somebody to hang out with, somebody to give her validation. That's another way. So those are really the two main things that women try to get out of you when they're taking advantage of you. So if you're always paying for everything, guess what? So
if guys are always paying for everything, though, then women should be giving them affection, giving them, sex, making them food. They're going out, they're busting their ass, working hard to make all this money, and they're coming home, and they want those things from women. They also want peace. They also want a woman to be submissive. I mean, there's not many things that guys ask for women, but those are some of the most important. And affection and sex is the most important for the majority of men.
100%.
So what's another way that women will use men?
So this is another sign you want to watch out for. If she doesn't include you in her circle of friends at all, we're not talking about the first week or two because nobody's going to bring you around their circle of friends that early. But this is more like if you're a few months into it and it's only you two hanging out one-on-one and she never introduces you to any of her friends, it's not a good sign because when a woman wants you to be in her life, she's eventually going to introduce you to her friends or her family. Now, of course, it's maybe months in. We're not talking about in the beginning. But if you're months into it and she hasn't introduced you to anybody, something's off. I mean, that might mean that she doesn't want them to know about you, or she doesn't think that they're going to approve you, or she's just not into you and she just doesn't want you in her circle.
Or soon, the relationship or the dating may be over.
Yeah.
So she's just, again, having you come along and getting your hopes up. And it's strange that, yes, you go out together, but it's strange that she doesn't invite you out with her friends, or if it's getting more and more serious, to meet her parents, family, anybody else that she's close with. You'd want your family as the woman to know who the guy that the woman is dating. So it's silly that women go about things that way, and they, again, aren't straightforward. Hey, I only see you as a friend. Be straight up, and that's it. Because if you don't see a guy that way, then you should be bringing him around your circle. Could it be that there's other girls in that circle and she doesn't want to expose her guy to those women?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I would say if it's an attractive guy, the girls are definitely jealous of each other. So that's a possibility. But I mean, the best way I can describe it is if like you haven't met a single other person in her life, like 3 months into it, something's off. She's going to introduce you to somebody.
Exactly. So there's that one case that I asked you about a second ago, but then there's the other case where if she's not introducing him to anybody, then
not a good sign.
That's not a good sign, because then that's an easy escape from, for her to have him escape.
Resources extracted, and then you go to the disposal phase.
That's it.
And you'd be surprised how women are savages. They will extract what they can get out of you. And then once they get the hint that like, oh, wait, this guy actually likes me and was trying to hook up with me, see ya, blocked.
Goodbye. Exactly.
That's how it goes. How it goes.
And then you won't know anybody in her circle, so there's no way you can contact a family member or a friend to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So
it makes it easier to end it, yeah.
To escape, exactly. So that's a fourth one. And what's another one? Let's call it the last one. What's the last way that women take advantage?
So this is the worst one, but if you find out she's like talking to other people or she's seeing someone else behind your back, and this isn't going to be so easy to catch, but I mean, if you've been hanging out with her for weeks or months, find out she might be talking to somebody behind your back.
So it isn't good. So we briefly mentioned earlier having the guy sort of be a friend, and you don't want to be friends with a woman because of situations like that. She has you around for whatever she needs you for, again, a ride or just some emotional support. Oh, I need to call you 2 a.m. I need to talk to you. I have my own problems. Men have problems too. You know, there's men ages 19, 18, or 19 to 30 years old that are either virgins or are barely getting any sex at all. That's a huge problem.
You know what's like a good example of this is when you find out like a woman has like he's just a friend. Don't worry about him. That's just my my friend from school or my friend from work. That's usually one of these where you find out later that, you know.
That's someone that you should worry about.
Yeah.
When she tells you not to worry about that specific person, that means that you should worry about that person.
Because you know what the problem is that even if she's being genuine, let's just assume that that guy that she knows really is just her friend. We know that that guy is not just her friend, that is just the next guy in line that's just waiting his turn to clap some cheeks. He might be in disguise as a friend, but we know as guys that guy that's her friend is just waiting his turn.
It's like the saying goes, she's not yours, it's just your turn. And again, you want the physical connection, the physical affection with her. You want the kissing and the foreplay and the sex and whatnot. But if you're not getting any of that, and I would give it to the third date.
Yeah.
Give it to the third date. If you're not getting anything of that sort by the third date, even at least a kiss, then call it right there and move on. Either, again, move on to somebody else or work on yourself, which all men should be doing.
If she hits you with like, oh, well, I usually, I had a girl say this one time. I remember this. Oh, well, I have a 90-day rule. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, but I don't do 90-day rules. That's it.
I have a one-day rule, and that's, okay, I see you, and I don't see anything coming from this eventual relationship.
You want to put me on a 90-day trial where I'm paying for all this shit and doing all this, doing the most for 90 days? No.
I'm done. Yeah. If it's not happening, and if she gives you that 90-day story, or, you know, we have to wait it out for a while, or I'm still finding myself, then come on. End it right there.
You know?
Men have to be men, and they have to end shit to move on and to move forward onto bigger and better things. It is what it is.
I know this episode is basically, we're talking about signs that she may be taking advantage of you, but just something a little quick one I wanted to share. If a woman ever tells you that she's healing or that she's in her healing phase, run, my friend. If she ever tells you like, oh, well, I'm healing or I'm seeing a healer, oh, that is... You're dealing with a sociopath.
Yeah, I think you're dealing with Miss Crazy.
Yeah.
Right there. And it goes to show with all these things how not like women don't make it easy. They don't make it easy for guys. They make it very difficult. And it's always me when it comes to women. All selfish, all about them. And they're not focused on the other person. You know, that man is a human being, and that guy also has his own set of problems. And guys aren't going to tell you about their feelings or their problems. Of course, unless it's a feminine man, we're talking a different story. Then he's got to snap out of it, because that feminine man is the quote-unquote friend that she has lingering around for support whenever her guy that's giving her the physical attraction is not around. So it's something just to keep in mind and have the mentality to just focus on yourself, make yourself better every day. And some of the things that we mentioned earlier with working on your money status and getting in the gym are just some of the few things that we always say to work on. And we don't repeat it for nothing. You know, we know that we're kind of beating down a dead horse here when we say that. But it's more important than ever before. As simple as it is, it's very important. Just get it done and have awareness of these things, of these things. And there's other things that we haven't mentioned of ways that women manipulate or take advantage or use men. But be aware that when a woman is using you, you got to find a way to move on right away. I mean, what are your
My final thoughts are basically,
last
look,
thoughts?
it's it's female nature to extract resources from guys. That's what they're literally programmed and designed to do. Nowadays, especially, most guys, most average guys, you are at a very, very, very high likelihood of getting take advantage of women because that's just simply what they do. Modern women do not take dating seriously. They're all talking to multiple guys. They know they have the next 5 guys lined up. So you should never approach a new connection with a woman seriously, show too much commitment, show too much interest right out the bat. You should seem like you have other options. Talk to multiple women. Never show too much commitment early on because that's when these type of things will start to happen. Once she knows she has you on the hook, she's going to keep dangling that sausage in front of your face and keep getting the resources out of you. Oh, dates, drinks, free time, free attention. So that's my closing thoughts.
Yeah, my closing thoughts are cut the women out that are completely wasting your time and think of you as a friend. Women out there realize that men aren't going to hang around past the second or third date if there ain't some action going on. And men have to be, women like to say that men are insecure when they do this, but men have to be secure when they cut the woman off and they either focus on themselves or at least try to go after another woman. Have your options. Have your roster. Men have to be self-disciplined enough to be able to tell her, I'm sorry, this is over, and I'm going to move on.
Yep.
That's it. That's the bottom line. And you got to stick to your guns when you say it, not say it and then she comes around a day or two later and you give in and you go back to it. No, it's over. Once it's done, you move on.
The reality is nowadays women are talking to multiple guys, going on multiple dates, and they're getting a little bit of something out of all of them. So next time you go on a date, you have a connection with a woman, you have to take that approach that this isn't really a big deal. I'm vetting this woman out. Do I really like her? Is she worth my time? And you should be repeating that process till you find a woman that's giving you the things you need.
Exactly. You're not the only one. There's other guys out there in the mix. When she's going out with her social circle, most of the time with her girls night out, there's guys around, and those guys are going to be going after that girl that you're talking to that you think will eventually be exclusive to you, but you'll find out the hard way that she won't be if you continue that route. So identify it, react by cutting her out, moving on. That's the best way to go about this situation. So on that note, make sure you continue to push us onto the road of 1,000 subscribers. It's totally free. You're helping us out. We're trying to help you out in return. And like the video, follow us on Instagram, the Podcast Guys _ on TikTok, the Podcast Guys _ and on X, the Podcast Guys 5. We'll see you next time, and make sure to comment below. Let us know what you think. We'll see you next time. Peace.